Right. Yeah. And you go ballot, right? Yeah, you have a little time to think this fast.
We are now live on YouTube.
Good evening, everyone. Let's call to order the city selection committee meeting of February 8th, 2024 at 5:35 p.m. First up, thanks everyone for being here in person. We might have one or two stragglers, but we'll go ahead and I just want to welcome all the mayors here. I know this is some of your first time at this meeting, so this is a pretty unique body because it's mainly the mayors or the mayor's appointee for the specific meeting, if that's the need, that does the voting, and this is for appointments from a countywide standpoint. So that's why we have the county clerk here. So thank you for being here. First up is our roll call. May we please have roll call?
Susan Landry, present. Sheila Mohan,
Here.
Stanley Mock, Matthew Hudis, absent. Carmen Montano, Javed Elahi,
Present.
Mark Turner,
Here.
Pat Showalter,
Here.
Greer Stone,
Here.
Rosemary Kamei, absent. Lisa Gilmore,
Here.
Tina Walia,
Here.
Larry Klein.
Here.
We'll go back to alternates. Tom Klein,
Here.
Pete Daly.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up is our consent calendar. So this is approving our minutes from way back in May of last year. Actually, sorry. Next up is oral communications. Let me make sure I follow my script. This portion of the meeting allows those people in the room or those remote to speak on an item that is not on our agenda this evening. If there's anyone in the room wishing to speak on a non-agenda item, please raise your hand, and you will have 2 minutes to speak. I see no one. Is there anyone remote who wishes to speak on this item? A non-agenda item? Thank you. We move on to our main agenda. First up is our consent calendar. This is basically to approve our meeting minutes from May 11th, 2023. Let me go ahead and open the public hearing. There's no one in the room to speak on this item? Is there anyone remote? Any hands raised remotely to speak on this item? No, I'll close the public hearing. Were there any corrections from mayors?
Question. Sure. I obviously wasn't here. Do we abstain or do I?
You can do either. I think we have enough, as long as the majority of us should be saying yes. This is basically for appointment, so it's saying yes at this point is not. We appointed, and I think the meetings, at least for those that were in the room, at least my reading, it can capture everything. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
Would you mind, for my sake, saying at least your last name when you move?
Sure. Or
Yeah.
city.
Morgan Hill. Yep.
Thank you.
Second, Santa Clara.
Thank you very much.
May we have a roll call vote?
Campbell?
Just to confirm, you do like to call Kayla's dad.
Sorry.
Too many buttons, sorry.
Campbell, abstain, Christina? Gilroy?
Yes.
Los Altos?
Yes.
Los Altos Hills?
Yes.
Los Gatos? Absent. Yes? Here. Yes. Thank you. Sorry, that was confusing. Monte Sereno?
Aye.
Morgan Hill?
Yes.
Matthew?
Yes.
Palo Alto?
Yes.
San Jose?
Yes.
Santa Clara?
Yes.
Saratoga?
I will say yes, thanks, Mayor Klein. I wasn't here. So that helps.
Yes.
Sunnyvale?
Yes.
Thank you. That passes.
Thank you. We'll move on to our main items that we'll be dealing. Actually, first a selection of a vice chair for the city selection committee. And so ultimately, that we go through this process every year. The mayor, so the chair and the vice chair both need to be mayors. That is one thing as far as this body is concerned. So ultimately, this is somewhat of a main position that, you know, hopefully a non-rotating mayor that's not there for a yearly basis, isn't taking on that position. I plan to, you know, continue being the chair for a while as far as this committee is concerned, but, definitely needing a vice chair in case something happens last minute, is really important. So I'll be taking, so this will kind of start the process for the evening. We didn't ask for letters for this. I think, you know, the vice chair is a little bit simpler as opposed to the letters that we're doing for the rest of the appointments tonight. But it'll be taking nominations from the floor, taking nominations, well, not remotely since we have no other mayors remote. But then everyone has up to 2 minutes to speak. So setting that in process. And then we'll go through minor discussion and then final voting. So to start this off, and you can self-nominate or nominate your mayor if you happen to be the alternate. If you want to put the mayor up or the mayors from that standpoint, but I would take nominations for vice chair of this organization.
I'd like to appoint Tina, vice chair.
You can appoint yourself. Oh.
Thank you. We need to appreciate that vote of confidence. Thank you. So that means you
I'll nominate Byron.
I'll be there.
I'd be happy to do it.
Okay. And
We'll second that.
do you want to say anything about, I know I made the case about not rotating. That being said, I'm happy that anyone wants to be vice chair.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
In my first term, I was very active on the cities association and I was on the executive board. And then I took part in the selection city committee several times, and it's an important role. I'd be happy to step in if you need a little help.
I appreciate that. No other nominations?
Make a motion to approve, Pat.
Okay, we'll do, thank you.
That's the way we do this?
We had, yes, I appreciate that. We do need, do public comment. So,
I need the cities. that
I'm sorry.
mayors and everything speak.
oh,
Move approval, Santa Clara.
Second, Campbell, and I think I got the city right, Campbell.
so we'll do, public comment. Anyone in the room want to speak? Is there anyone remote who wishes to speak on this item? We'll close the public comment. I just want to, any advocacy or questions for Pat?
Yay.
So Pat, I just want to thank you for putting your name out there. I do appreciate, you know, you've been part of the organization off and on for a while now. And so definitely one thing that's changed as far as this organization since you were on it last is we found out that it needs to only be mayors and it needs to be run by the county clerk. And so that's one of the critical things that we weren't doing correctly before. And so with that, can you please conduct a roll call vote?
Campbell,
Yes.
Cupertino,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Los Altos,
Yes.
Los Altos Hills,
Yes.
Los Gatos.
Yes.
I'll note that Los Gatos was present at 5:41. Milpitas. Yes. Monte Sereno,
Yes.
Morgan Hill,
Yes.
Mountain View,
Yes.
Palo Alto,
Yes.
San Jose,
Yes.
Santa Clara,
Yes.
Saratoga,
Yes.
Sunnyvale.
Yes.
That passes unanimously.
Thank you. Okay. So now we'll move on to our main item tonight is appointment actions. And so this is the main effort for this body. One of the things I have had a request to move at least one of the items is the appointments to ABAG to the end of the appointments, just because someone is running late. Are there any other, before we start going item by item, is there anything else that people want to move later or earlier? If there's people that have an issue, need to leave early? Okay. Seeing no comments, we'll go ahead and start at the first one, item A, the Airport Land Use Commission. We have 2 seats, seat 6 and seat 7, and a letter of interest from Russ Melton. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Is there any other members in the public that might be interested in this position? Okay, seeing none. Russ, would you like to, and so everyone will have 2 minutes to speak. Go ahead and you have your 2 minutes, and then people have a chance to ask questions if you want. But of course, we only have one applicant, so it makes it a little bit easier. Go ahead, Russ.
Is it okay if I came up here, Larry?
Absolutely.
Everybody, my name is Russ Melton. I'm a council member for the city of Sunnyvale. I wanted to start off by thanking my colleague, Sunnyvale Mayor Larry Klein, for chairing this board here tonight. I'm your appointee to the Santa Clara Airport Land Use Commission. I've been in this role either as primary or alternate for 6 years. It's a pleasure to serve, and I would be happy to go into any questions about the workings or mechanisms of the Airport Land Use Commission. But suffice it to say, we have 2 airports in the county that get most of the attention from the Airport Land Use Commission. That's Moffett Field and San Jose International Airport. We have 3 other airports in the county as well, and most of our applicants are the cities of Sunnyvale and Mountain View as pertains to the proximity of Moffett Field, and then the city of Santa Clara and the city of San Jose as pertains to the proximity around San Jose International Airport. I'd be happy to go into any sort of detail, but just request reappointment. I've been at this for a while and enjoy the work. And as I sign off, I just wanted to say your current appointee for seat 6 is Mountain View Vice Mayor Lisa Matichak, and she has done a stellar job for the Cities Association in that role for probably 6+ years. I think the entire time she's been on Mountain View Council. Real yeoman's work, diligence, getting the job done, regular meeting attendee. And I know Lisa's not here tonight, but I just wanted to call her out for some really stellar work. And then back to my application, I'd appreciate reappointment if that's in the cards tonight. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Russ. Any questions? And I have a question for staff, just to remind me. The difference between, sorry, you'll have to be hearing that tonight. The difference between seat 6 and seat 7, what areas or what, I remember there are multiple cities, if I remember, right?
Yeah, but it didn't say that it had to be from any particular city. The cities, one of those 2 seats, the city should ideally be adjacent to an airport.
Okay.
That's the only direction that
Difference
it's on
between
my.
seat 6 and seat 7.
Did Mr. Melton say that Lisa Matichak is currently serving in seat 6?
Yeah.
There's no difference between 6 and 7. The Cities Association has 2 appointees.
Right.
And then the other 5 seats are appointed by different
Okay,
agencies.
just checking. Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question. Lisa did not submit a letter. Is she wanting us to renew her?
We've not reached out, not heard anything.
Do
So
we need to renew her?
we would need, so her term is complete.
How long is a term?
Typically 2 years. I'm pulling up the membership.
I got 4 in my mind.
Oh,
Just a-
okay.
Well, that goes 4 years.
I suggest appointing her, and she can refuse or resign if she chooses later on.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I know she enjoys this. She's actually in New Zealand at the moment, so I can't text her and ask her about it. But this is her last year on council. And so I would assume that the reason she didn't submit another letter is because she can't serve the whole 4 years. So, if no one else is interested, I think it would be appropriate to appoint her, and I think we could probably get her to do it without twisting her arm too far. Yeah. And she makes, very detailed reports back to the Mountain View City Council about what she's learned. And, we found it, very helpful.
Sorry. Okay, well, thank you. So thank you for let's say, putting her name out there.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't want to do it, of course, we can we will be reappointing, we'll have another selection committee in,
Either, October or November, I think.
and conceivably, if she's only there until the end of the year, we'll have to start looking at next year anyway, so I appreciate that. Okay, so we have 2 appointees. No other nominations, so, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we appoint Lisa Manichek for seat 6 and Russ Melton for seat 7, the Campbell.
Santa Clara second.
Thank you. Is there any member of the public who wishes to speak on this item in person? No? Anyone remote? I'll close the public hearing. Can you have, county clerk, can you please conduct a roll call?
Thank you. Campbell.
Yes.
Cupertino.
Yes.
Gilroy.
Yes.
Los Altos.
Yes.
Los Altos Hills.
Yes.
Los Gatos.
Yes.
Milpitas.
Yes, but I had a follow-up question. So when her term runs out, then we're gonna come back and vote for someone else.
Either October or January of next year. If that's okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Monte Sereno.
Yes.
Morgan Hill.
Yes.
Mountain View.
Yes.
Palo Alto.
Yes.
San Jose.
Yes.
Santa Clara.
Yes.
Saratoga.
Yes.
Sunnyvale.
Yes.
Thank you. That's unanimous.
I just have a follow-up. Do we get reports also from these committees to the city?
So that's one of the things that Charlie is asking for. Go ahead.
Oh, sure. So, at all of our city, our board of directors meetings, the monthly meetings, we will have 3, appointees from 3 different agencies, give an update on what's there.
Thank you. Okay, so let's skip over at least the ABAG seats and alternates, and we'll move on to, let's go ahead and do ABAG Regional Planning Committee. So item C, Association of Bay Area Governments Regional Planning Committee. We've had 1 letter of interest from Rob Moore. Are there any nominees for that position?
I'll nominate Rob Moore. Campbell.
Well, thank you.
Second,
He's already, okay.
San Jose.
No new nominees, correct?
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's already on the list.
Yes.
Motion to appoint.
There you go.
And San Jose.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Rob isn't online, correct? Okay, just double checking. Before, is there any member, we'll open public hearing. Is there any member of the public wishing to speak on this item? No? Any remote?
No.
We'll close the public hearing on this item and bring it back for any advocacy on Rob's behalf? Question? Yeah.
No, I'd like to advocate on Rob's behalf. Rob has been a terrific addition to the Los Gatos Town Council. Very energetic and very engaged in important issues, particularly important issues of our younger generation. And so I think for that reason, he would be a terrific addition to this council. And so I would strongly support his appointment.
Thank you. Any other advocacy?
I'll just basically say the same thing. It's, the young blood is great right now. I look around this room like, oh, we're all old around here. But he's very enthusiastic and energetic, and I think he would do a great job.
Fantastic. Anyone else? Okay, may we have a roll call or a voice vote?
Campbell.
Yes.
Cupertino.
Yes.
Gilroy.
Yes.
Los Altos.
Yes.
Los Altos Hills.
Yes.
Los Gatos.
Yes.
Milpitas.
Yes.
Monte Sereno.
Yes.
Morgan Hill.
Yes.
Mountain View.
Yes.
Palo Alto.
Yes.
San Jose.
Yes.
Santa Clara.
Yes.
Saratoga.
Yes.
Sunnyvale.
Yes.
Thank you. That's unanimous.
Thank you. Next is our SourceWise Advisory Council. And we had 1 late submission.
This is the letter that I just forwarded.
You just forwarded a different, thank you. So we had 1 late submission that was sent out earlier, after the meeting started, actually. So if you take a look at your email, it should be there. But can you, I'm pulling it up. Shali, can you give a quick update for the letter of interest and who's interested?
Sure. So Vice Mayor of Los Gatos, Matthew Hudes, has submitted a letter of interest to serve as the Sourcewise Advisory Council as a representative of the Cities Association. You all should have the letter in your email inbox, but I can read from it if you would like.
Fine, if people are fine pulling up their inbox. It's a relatively long letter, so it's not as easy to do. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Or from the public?
None from the public, sorry.
Okay. So we have one nomination. Are there any other comments?
Really curious about, I want to express my ignorance. I don't know what this Sourcewise Committee does. If somebody can.
So we can talk about it's on aging, but go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say on the last page of the packet, I put the list of available seats and I tried to put a little blurb about each one. So
So if there's a link on what they need and a link to the different organizations. I will open the public hearing on this item. If anyone I see no one in the room wishing to speak on this item. Is there anyone remote wishing to speak on this item?
No.
I'll close the public hearing and bring it back. Is there a motion?
Second.
Please name your cities for the county clerk.
This is the motion, Montesino is the second.
Thank you.
Motion to appoint Matthew Hudes. Thank you.
Thank you. Please conduct a roll call vote.
Campbell,
Yes.
Cupertino,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Los Altos,
Yeah.
Los Altos Hills,
Yes.
Los Gatos,
Yes.
Milpitas,
Yes.
Monte Sereno,
Yes.
Morgan Hill,
Yes.
Mountain View,
Yes.
Palo Alto,
Yes.
San Jose,
Yes.
Santa Clara,
Yeah.
Saratoga,
Yes.
Sunnyvale.
Yes.
Thank you, that's unanimous.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up is LAFCO. We have one seat and one alternate, so we'll take the main seat first. We had a letter of interest from Councilmember Melton from Sunnyvale. So we have one letter of interest. Is there any nominations from the floor? Seeing none, any member of the public wishing to nominate? Seeing none. Councilmember Melton, come on up and you have 2 minutes.
And everybody, I'm still Russ from the city of Sunnyvale. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. First and foremost, thank you, City Selection Committee. I've been your appointee to Santa Clara LAFCO for the past 7 years, either as alternate or primary. LAFCO is a state agency with the County of Santa Clara as its jurisdiction. Your fun fact for the night is each of the 58 counties in the state of California has a LAFCO as directed by legislation from Sacramento. We're a good government agency, so we promote efficient delivery of government services, the curbing of urban sprawl, and the preservation of prime agricultural farmland. We have a fantastic board of directors at Santa Clara LAFCO. A couple of our board members are here tonight, and I really appreciate my colleagues and all of our service and a great professional staff. 2023 was an exciting year for Santa Clara LAFCO. About halfway through the year, I was appointed by my colleagues as board chairperson due to some turnover on the board. We completed an application from the city of Gilroy to expand their urban service area, and I'm proud to report that was on a unanimous vote by LAFCO Board of Directors, and we completed a county-wide fire service review. 2024 is going to be exciting as well. I'm also board chair for the year 2024. We're going to work on modernizing Santa Clara LAFCO policies, our internal policies for usability by our customers and conformance with recent changes in state law. And then we're doing a bunch of internal training of our professional staff to increase the pipeline and capability to tackle requirements placed on us by the state of California to complete our mission. Thank you for considering me for continuing on as your representative to Santa Clara LAFCO. I'm happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, oh, yes, sir.
How long is it?
The term is 4 years. I guess I meant 2 minutes. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you for considering my application. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, Mayor.
Is there anyone from Gilroy or Morgan Hill that is interested, since most of the,
As not for chair, but we had 2 letters of interest for vice chair, or for alternate,
Alternate, yeah.
sorry, for seat as opposed to. Yes. We'll get to the alternates.
Gilroy would like to make a motion.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion. From Mr. Melton. Yep.
And is there a second?
Gilroy.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
And Morgan Hill will second. Thank you. I'll open public comment. No public comment. Any remote public comment? Thank you. I'll close public comment. Is there any final advocacy?
I'll say a few words. I get to serve with Russ as he's the chair on the alternate, but he does an excellent job in leading those discussions and working through some of those more difficult issues. And again, even on that Gilroy application, bringing it to a unanimous vote and leading that discussion in a great way. So I think the consistency in keeping him in place is important, not only for this organization, but for LAFCO as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, similarly, I'm the representative to LAFCO from the city of San Jose. And Russ has really, because he's had the experience, for those of us who are new on board, it has been a wonderful way to learn and to be able to, sort of grow. And it's going to be a delight to have him there for us.
Thank you.
And I could say, just being a newbie, but also alternate, I've enjoyed his leadership both on SBRIA and just the way he conducts the meetings, he conducts himself in really managing, but also really pushing things through in a very thoughtful, but also very efficient way. And I think with LAFCO too, he's done, just observing from my vantage point, he's done a really great job with that. So, yeah.
Thank you. County Clerk, can you please conduct a roll call vote?
Campbell,
Yes.
Cupertino,
yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Los Altos,
Yes.
Los Altos Hills,
Yes.
Los Gatos,
Yes.
Milpitas,
Yes.
Montezurino,
Yes.
Morgan Hill,
Yes.
Mountain View,
Yes.
Palo Alto,
Yes.
San Jose,
Yes.
Santa Clara,
Yes.
Saratoga,
Yes.
Sunnyvale.
Yes.
Thank you, that's unanimous.
Thank you. And next we'll move on to the alternate seat for LAFCO. We have 2 letters of interest. Are there any other nominees from the floor or from the public? Seeing none. So we have, first is Councilmember Hilton and then Mayor Turner. 2 minutes. Councilmember Hilton.
Hello, committee chair, members, staff, and the public. I'm Zach Hilton, Gilroy City Council member, and I respectfully request to represent you on the cities of Santa Clara County and the Cities Association as alternate commissioner to LAFCO. I have been watching and participating in LAFCO meetings since I was past chair of the Bicycle Pedestrian Commission and elected at large in the Gilroy City Council in 2020. I value LAFCO's mission in minimizing sprawl, preserving open space, encouraging efficiency of services, fiscal sustainability, accountability, and transparency. I have been deeply involved with the Gilroy General Plan 2040 implementation and getting our housing element certified by state HCD. I promote the values of smart growth in Santa Clara County, and I'm committed to examining the ways in which our land patterns used can be the limiting factors we work towards affordability and equity for our residents and our future generations. As a firefighter paramedic, I bring in a unique and valuable perspective to the service review process for LAFCO conducts for each city. I have hands-on experience of what it takes to provide these services as required by LAFCO. I believe my independent third-party perspective would be a great benefit for all the cities of Santa Clara County. I am a firm believer in LAFCO's policies of protecting agricultural lands and open space from premature conversion to development. While many cities in our county are built out, I see Morgan Hill, San Martin, and Gilroy as areas where we need to protect them from further urban sprawl. As a council member for the city of Gilroy, I represent those in Gilroy and the rest of the South County who support sustainable land use planning in line with LAFCO's policies. I'm proud to publicly support LAFCO's staff recommendation just a few months ago for the city of Gilroy that was mentioned earlier. So we can focus on future housing growth in downtown and transit corridors rather than trying to do more urban sprawl for single family homes. That is why it's important to have a balance of someone from South County in this seat, but as well as someone who won't go against smart growth. I supported the staff recommendation because Gilroy has 8 years of housing capacity building through landfill, infill, and not expanding our boundaries. For these reasons, I humbly request your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just make my way, okay? Very
Sorry,
good.
Mayor. Go right ahead.
I'm Mark Turner, Mayor of Morgan Hill, and currently am the representative for South County. And I can proudly say that as a result of my contribution to the conversation that took place for Gilroy's application, a better conversation was had where we were able to come to the point of getting the consensus and getting a unanimous vote. I think it's important not just to align solidly with no to everything when an application is presented, but questions have to be asked to cause everyone to think differently and realize and recognize, is there something to the request that is coming forward? And I've had that ability to be able to have those conversations at that level and get people thinking differently when it comes to South County. And I think South County, who rarely even submits an application, deserves the kind of consideration when it comes to those applications about the need they have for additional annexation if it's necessary. And so I too support smart growth in those areas and think it's important that we have the kind of representation for South County, both Morgan Hill, I should say both, but for Morgan Hill, San Martin, and Gilroy. And I'm currently doing that now and would be honored to continue in that role, and I would ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. So before we get, actually, we'll move to questions first. Does anyone have questions of either of the applicants for these positions? Since we have two to discuss. Okay, no questions. And I know we have, so let's go ahead and open the public hearing before we take nomination or before we get to advocacy. We'll open up public comment on this matter. Councilmember Malcolm.
Thanks again, Mayor Klein. I'll just stand over here if that's okay. So thank you for the opportunity to speak. Thank you for reappointing me to Santa Clara LAFCO, something that I'm very passionate about. And I wanted to speak in advocacy for Mayor Mark Turner to continue in his role as your alternate appointee to Santa Clara LAFCO. Mark, you and I have been working together for about a year now. Some words that come to mind when I think of Mark's participation as the alternate commissioner from the Cities Association on LAFCO, I think about professional, diligent, prepared, engaged, thoughtful. And at Santa Clara LAFCO, we have a very strong tradition of engaged alternate commissioners. It's the real deal, and Mark takes full advantage of that, both in regular session and in closed session. And I concur, Mark, with what I heard you say in terms of navigating the entire LAFCO through an complicated public hearing with regards to Gilroy's USA application. I feel that your comments and questions, thoughts and observations were very instrumental and helpful in getting us to a great public policy oriented solution and a unanimous vote. I also want to acknowledge Councilmember Hilton from the city of Gilroy, very highly engaged in the public process for LAFCO applications regarding his city. I really appreciate his contributions and viewpoints to the process. So you guys are lucky to have two really good applicants, and I'm happy to support LAFCO colleague Mayor Mark Turner. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Councilmember Melton. Anyone else in the room have any advocacy?
Yeah, I could just say.
We'll do it, come back to the board after. I just want to
Oh,
public comment first. We have at least one remote person wishing to speak.
We have two. The first is Greenfoot Hills.
Hi, good evening, members of the City Selection Committee. My name is Alice Kaufman. I'm the Policy and Advocacy Director for Greenfoot Hills. We're an organization that works to protect open space, farmland, and natural resources in San Mateo, Santa Clara, and San Benito counties. And we support Zach Hilton for the alternate LAFCO seat. LAFCO's work is critical for protecting open space and farmland from premature conversion to development. And we support Councilmember Hilton because of his commitment to avoiding sprawl, and upholding LAFCO policies about smart growth and ensuring efficient and effective delivery of urban services. So therefore, we ask for the City Selection Committee to appoint Councilmember Hilton to the LAFCO alternate seat. Thank you.
And we have Mayor Blankley from Gilroy.
Yes, hello. My designee, Councilmember Klein, is present to vote, but I would like to share, since I have the opportunity to speak right now, my support for Mark Turner. All of last year, he has continued to be an excellent representative for South County, and that's what I think the LAFCO board needs and has had through Mark Turner. A representative for South County needs to be someone who represents the South County interests before the LAFCO board. And that's a combination of the cities of Morgan Hill and the cities of Gilroy. And for that, I would like to suggest that you all support Mark Turner in reappointment to this seat. Thank you.
No more.
No more public comment, so we'll close public comment on this item and bring it back to the board for advocacy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would just, but I would just like to say, newly to being elected to council for a year, but in my relationship with Mark, I've known him for 10 years in his role with Chamber, but seeing his involvement in our community, he was effective and really had our interest, I know business, but also the interest of the city as a whole at heart and in mind. And so, and also this last year as mayor of Morgan Hill and his role with LAFCO as an alternate and how he worked with that. He's represented Gilroy very, very well. So I strongly urge or advocate for his being appointed as alternate.
Thank you. Any other advocacy? Sorry, thank you.
Sorry.
That's fine.
I gotta sit in a better place.
Yeah, I know. I should have sat where you were, but I needed power.
Oh, no problem. I just want to say that Mark Turner has been a great, excellent representative. He is engaged, he is professional, and has done well to represent South County. As many of you or some of you may know, I lived in Morgan Hill for, over 25 years. So I know the area well and represented it on the Santa Clara Valley Water District. So I know what it takes to be able to, sort of like bring that perspective to LAFCO. I do know that Mark has done a great job. One of the things that I recognize that's needed is someone with a variety of perspectives when you're bringing in, sort of like review, the service reviews that we do. And I do know that Zach Hilton brings that. And I think that we need a diversification of perspectives to also demonstrate, the needs of South County. South County is the area of greatest growth. We've already committed on Coyote Valley and all of that. So if anything's going to happen, it's going to happen in South County. So I think that having a understanding of diversified sort of approaches and experience is what Zach Hilton brings. And I'm hoping that my colleagues would take a look at his experience to be able to move him forward.
Thank you. Any other advocacy? Okay. And there were no final questions of either of the applicants before we wrap this up? Okay. So for this, it'd be slightly different since we have two applicants and only one seat. When you are doing roll call, please, as opposed to a motion, it's faster if everybody just gives either Hilton or Turner as their selected person. So, sorry, County Clerk, but as you're going through, if you can keep track of basically Hilton or Turner. Go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Turner. Cupertino. Hilton. Gilroy. Los Altos. Los Altos Hills. Los Gatos.
Hilton.
Milpitas. Monte Sereno. Morgan Hill,
Turner.
Change your mind now.
Mountain View,
Hilton.
Palo Alto,
Hilton.
San Jose,
Hilton.
Santa Clara,
Turner.
Saratoga, Sunnyvale. Should have been tallies instead. There are 9 votes for Turner, which is a majority of the group.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you. Thank you, Zach. Okay, our next item is the Santa Clara County Emergency Operational Area Council, EOAC. We have no applicants for either seat 6 representing Central County cities or seat 7 representing North County cities. I'll take nominations from the floor first for either seat.
I'm an alternate right now, but, she's on there, and I don't know if she wants to be, if she wants to continue, she can continue, but
I don't know why she didn't.
well, in the back, I would like to be the primary, and then she could do that one.
She didn't call me.
If I do attend all the meetings, even,
Yeah, she applied for something else, but she knew about all the, she didn't.
so I would like to nominate myself for the primary for the seat 6.
Alternate is available, not primary.
That's right. It's the alternate for seat 6. So you're reapplying for alternate.
Yeah, okay.
And then seat 7 is a primary position. Are there any nominees, or are you, are any council members from those that you might, of your cities that you might want to nominate for seat 7 or seat 6 alternate?
When does this mean?
It says in the bottom and I forget. Although, you can probably tell me off the top. That'd be right. When does it meet?
When does it meet? The meeting, that we meet every, Thursday. Well, not every, but once, the next one is every other Thursday. Well, once a month, actually.
During the day or in the evening?
During the day, 1:30. So I'm retired, so I can go. That's why.
Are there any nominees or any victims on your councils that you wish to nominate?
I'll take the bullet on this one. Pete Daly, Vice Mayor for Los Altos.
Thank you. And any nominations from the floor? And no one online? Thank you. Do you want to speak to the your nomination, Carmen? I know you've done it.
As I mentioned, I've been attending all the meetings as an alternate, and I'm also belong to the CERT, the County Emergency Response Team. So I do put a lot of good input during our discussions. So I would like to be nominated as the alternate.
Thank you.
There's nobody else offering themselves.
Thank you for that. I'll open the
Plug there, great plug.
I'll open the public hearing on this item. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? No? Any remote people? Close the public hearing. I'm looking for a motion.
So moved, Morgan Hill.
Second, Mountain View.
And that's for both appointment of the alternate and the primary for seat 7.
Exactly.
Thank you. Can you please conduct a roll call vote?
Yes. Campbell,
Yes.
Cupertino,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Los Altos,
Yes.
Los Altos Hills,
Yes.
Los Gatos,
Yes.
Milpitas,
Yes.
Montezurino,
Yes.
Morgan Hill,
Yes.
Mountain View,
Yes.
Palo Alto,
Yes.
San Jose,
Yes.
Santa Clara,
Yes.
Saratoga,
Yes.
Sunnyvale.
Yes.
Thank you, that's unanimous.
Thank you. We'll move on to the Recycling, Waste and Reduction Commission. We have one seat for member at large and one seat for South County cities. For the member at large, Kathy Watanabe from Santa Clara applied, and for the South County cities, Fred Tovar from Gilroy applied. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Or from the public? Okay. Kathy's not here, sorry. Kathy's not here. Fred, would you like to speak?
Yes, sure. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, committee members. And for those that may not know me, my name is Fred Tovar. I'm a city council member in Gilroy. And I ask that you please accept my interest in reappointment to the for the South County seat, city seat for the Recycling, Waste and Reduction Commission. Having already served on that commission for a few years, I'm eager to continue contributing to the committee's endeavors. In my close to 20 years in public office, I continue to be dedicated to the advancing waste management practices, and I have a strong understanding of the challenges and opportunities in the things that we can do, and I'm well equipped to make meaningful contributions. For example, currently in my current role here at Santa Clara University, I continue to educate our campus community, our students and our leadership about waste reduction and recycling, and improving our current recycling and waste practices. In addition, as a very active resident of South County of Gilroy with close to a 99% 99% attendance rate in my 20 years of meetings, I know that I'm still deeply committed to my community's well-being and fully support the commission's objectives. So I ask that you please consider my interest in being reappointed to the RWRC. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Sorry about that, Fred. We weren't laughing at you. We were laughing at some issues with lighting at Emily's.
Oh, I thought you were laughing because I don't look as old as I sound. And by the way, I am taller than Mark Turner, so just so everybody, for the record.
That's not saying Okay. With that, I will go ahead and open the public hearing. Actually, are there any questions for Fred? Seeing none. I'll open the public hearing. Are there any comments from anyone in the public? Are there anyone remote wishing to speak on this item? Yeah. Close the public hearing. Take a motion. Sure.
For the primary or for the alternate?
There's two.
So there's two. We had two. Fred applied for the alternate or for
South County.
South
County.
South County, and Kathy Watanabe applied for the.
So they're both down.
Yeah.
I just want to advocate for both Kathy and Fred.
Yep.
Kathy, as many of you know, is one of the hardest working council members in the area in Santa Clara, and she's really excited about this and is anxious to serve and would appreciate support. Fred, I'm aware of what he's done at Santa Clara University, and I would support him just because he's in front of Mission Santa Clara right now, and he's actually that was a really good backdrop, Fred. So. No, Fred is done so much at Santa Clara University, and he's been a wonderful council member for the entire area. So I would support Fred as well.
Thank you.
And I'll speak on for Kathy, not for her, about her. I was on the Recycling Waste Reduction Committee for over 4 years. She was part of it, and she always gave strong support, came very knowledgeable and understood the topics, engaged in the conversation, and I support Kathy.
Fantastic. Any other comments? I had a quick comment. I am currently chair of the Recycling Waste and Reduction Committee. Definitely I've been happy to work with both Kathy and Fred and taking over the chair from Kathy last year. So I do think that both of them have been doing a fantastic job, and I look forward to working with both of them going forward. So, definitely each of them look at this as something very critical, how we're dealing with the waste that our region is creating, and making sure that we are doing the best we can with trying to basically divert as much waste, and then figuring out what we're doing from a state and local policy standpoint to make sure that we put the right things in place to make sure there is no. So happy to support both of them. I will take a motion.
Move approval, Santa Clara.
Second, Morgan Hill. Both Kathy and
Both Kathy and Fred.
Please conduct a roll call vote.
Campbell. Yes. Cucino. Yes. Gilroy.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Alfonso.
Yes.
Lopez.
Yes.
Milpitas,
Yes.
Monte Sereno,
Yes.
Morgan Hill,
Yes.
Mountain View.
yes,
Walton.
Yes.
Sunny. Yes.
Santa Clara,
Yes.
Saratoga,
Yes.
Sunnyvale.
Yes.
Thank you. That passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. And we'll move back to ABEC. So we have several items for ABAG. So this was item B, Association of Bay Area Governments. We have 2 seats, CA and CB, which we received 3 letters of interest. Nisa, Dan, and Yvonne. And then let me take nominations from the floor first. Any additional interest in the primary seats? Anyone from the public or remote?
No.
Okay. We will take each of our applicants will have 2 minutes. And Nisa, you're first.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. For those of you who don't know Nisa Flagger, I am former mayor, current council member on the Los Altos City Council, and I've been serving as your representative on ABAG since 2020. And so this is an application to be reappointed. I remember, after I was elected and I applied for the first time to serve in a regional body, the Cities Association members at the time, they said they always look for continuity. Right? They want to make sure that the person serving on these boards will serve for multiple years because you build relationships with the other representatives, with staff, and also build some influence in the organization. And I'm very proud to say over the last 4 years, I have been sought out by the president of ABAG to serve on the housing committee, our regional planning committee, also the executive committee, which I had to turn down. It had a conflict with one of my other meetings. And in these roles, I was promoted to vice chair of the housing committee. I've also been your advocate. As we went through the RHNA process, I advocated on behalf of Santa Clara County when we were looking at those RHNA numbers and spoke up on our behalf. When you looked at job housing and all the other issues that you told me about as representatives for your cities. And I was able to bring that forward to ABAG and represent you, and it's reflected. We're not happy with the numbers. They weren't great to begin with, but I can tell you we're in a much better place because I made sure your voices were heard at the different meetings at ABAG. We're currently working on several projects and issues, including a potential housing bond for the November ballot. We have no idea if it will move forward. We have a big meeting actually next week. And I'm vice chair of the housing committee. But in addition to the housing bond, the REAP funds, and all the other projects we're working on the horizon, we need representatives who understand the issues, who have been working on these issues for the past few years, and so we can build on it as opposed to having someone new step into this role. And so I'm ready to continue representing you. I enjoy this, and so thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Next up is Dan Furtado. Dan?
Thank you. Good evening, members of the committee. Dan Furtado, council member from the city of Campbell. I'm very interested in ABAG. I truly believe that regional cooperation, collaboration, coordination is very important. We have a number of issues that affect the greater Bay Area. The many cities that exist here around the San Francisco Bay itself, as well as the counties. And although we have different opinions and ideas and so on, nevertheless, understanding one another helps us in formulating ideas regionally, but also individually, as well as on other committees that we serve that cover some of these areas. One of the main areas, of course, of ABAG is affordable housing. And that is a subject that I've been interested in for a long time. I did serve on the Santa Clara County Housing Trust Board, which governs a lot, provides a lot of funding for affordable housing for a number of years on my previous service on the city council. And I've also had the opportunity to represent my own city to the General Assembly recently and previously. And fortunately, I did serve on the ABAG Executive Board for a number of years and was appointed to a couple of their committees, including regional planning and legislative and government oversight. So ABAG, we all have issues and problems with RENA. It is not a simple process, but mentioning the comment that my colleague made earlier, advocating for the cities and talking more about the regional needs as well as our own individual city needs, and having people take another look at the RENA numbers for each of our cities. It is a complex issue. So I would appreciate your consideration to serve. Other things that ABAG does, of course, are energy and infrastructure. They serve as the finance authority for a number of nonprofit agencies, as well as the Estuary Project was extremely important too. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, we have Yvonne online. You should be unmuted. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much. I apologize if I'm not there. I just finished chairing a meeting, or I would have been there. My name's Yvonne Martinez Beltran. I'm the councilwoman in the city of Morgan Hill. I know many of you. And I am coming to seek reappointment to the RENA board. I have served as the General Assembly member, and then I served as the alternate, waiting for an opportunity to come up. We had some great representation prior, and just got an opportunity to be appointed our last term. So I very much enjoyed being on there and working on, we've talked about technical support for RENA as we all went through it. Now we're talking about RENA reform, Bay Area, the 2050 plus plan, and also has been mentioned, looking at a possible bond that will come forward. And I think it is important that we have continuity. I think it's important that we are staying on top of the issues. I think that my background does show my experience in housing. I'm an urban planner. My discipline is in urban planning and economic development, in housing and economic development, excuse me. I have served on the HCED for the League of Cities on their policy committee for years. I am now the chair for the state policy committee for the League of Cities. I also have been on the Housing Community Development Advisory Committee for the county. I'm following all of the conversations that are happening at RENA, as well as environmental and transportation. I am on the Silicon Valley Clean Energy Board, which I think does make a great pairing with the Bay Ren work that ABAG also does. And I think, as I grew up in Morgan Hill, I'm a Santa Clara girl. My family is from San Jose. And so while I know this very well, I also studied and lived in New York for 8 years. So I'm aware of the differences between many different cities. I understand and appreciate the challenges that we're all having, small, large, medium cities,
Yvonne.
as well as the lack of infrastructure.
Yvonne,
Oh, sorry. I hope you'll give me your support.
Your time's up. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have one hand raised online. Oh, okay. Just double check. Okay. Were there any questions for any of the applicants? Sure. Go ahead.
My question to the applicants is, given that this regional, measure may move forward, how will you ensure that Santa Clara County gets their fair share? Because the amount, from what I understand, what Santa Clara County may contribute is a lot more than what is being talked about to come back. So I'm just wondering, what would you do to advocate for Santa Clara County getting their fair share of the bond, of the measure?
Thank you. And whoever wants to speak. Lisa?
And I can talk to that, Vice Mayor,
Do you want to give us the background on the measure?
on the housing bond.
Sure.
So currently, ABAG is considering putting a housing measure on the November ballot, and this would raise funds for all the cities. So ABAG consists of the 9 Bay Area counties in Northern California. And so each county and the cities within the county would be able to benefit from this housing bond over a certain period of time for us to build housing. And there are different levels of housing, very similar to the RENA process. This actually is a state mandate. So ABAG was able to lobby along with other COGs in order to get this support from the state. And so if this moves forward, it's very prescriptive to the Vice Mayor's question on how these funds need to be spent, on the type of housing, the type of development. That's all prescriptive from the state. Where there's flexibility and where we can advocate on behalf of the cities and the county, it's in the distribution of, Santa Clara County, to the Vice Mayor's point, puts more in than any other county. Currently, the plan is to have Santa Clara County, because we put the most in, also get the most from the bond on a percentage basis. But to your point, the way it's structured, because again, it's coming from the state, the directive is from the state, we will not get every dollar we put in. We will not, because a portion of the bond measure will be held back by ABAG and MTC to fund regional measures. And this will indirectly benefit us. So the funding will be, portions will go to each county. And then it's up to, and San Jose. So the big cities like San Jose will get their own funding separate from the county. Smaller cities, the other 14 cities in Santa Clara County, we will have to work directly with Santa Clara County in order to figure out how much of that pot will actually go to our cities. And there will be an application process. For example, I know in Los Altos, we have an affordable housing development. I don't know if it will qualify, but if there's, if we still haven't gotten the funding for it by next year, that's a potential project. And I'm sure there are projects in your cities as well. But to answer the Vice Mayor's question, I've sat in so many meetings discussing this. There's some flexibility. There's some discretion, that there are things we don't have flexibility on because of the state directive. But San Jose, you'll get your own pot of money, and the county will as well, and I hope we can all work together. Thank you.
Thank you. One second. Dan.
Yes. And if I can,
And Yvonne, go ahead. Dan, go ahead.
thank you. And I mean, he said it well, and Rosemary, as you know, San Jose will get their pot of money. And I think going from there and leading with its original effort, as I know that, you're concerned not just about San Jose, but everybody. And with that regional effort, working with our colleagues to understand where it is that, how we're going to be able to all kind of benefit from that pot of money. Everybody's going in. We are putting in some more, but we're going to see that back. As Nisa said, coming together, collaborating regionally, and then trying to see how we can leverage those dollars in our own communities. Because as we know, we don't have the funds. So coming up with programs where we can take the funds that we're able to get and how we can leverage them. So I don't want to repeat everything that's been said.
No, thanks, Yvonne. And I want to give a status update on the housing bond measure.
No, I prefer Dan to speak.
Oh, just in case if Dan knows the update, I think it's important for people to understand. We haven't approved it yet as an executive board.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Go ahead, Dan.
That was a very good explanation, though. I will simply add that, of course, Santa Clara County is the 6th largest county in the state, and we deserve our fair share. Oftentimes we talk about jobs, housing balance, and for a number of years, Santa Clara County has had a lot of jobs, and people have complained we're not providing enough housing, so that increases the transportation costs and pollution, etc. And so that argument alone should merit the fact that we are entitled to our fair share. Likewise, the affordability measure and the high RENA numbers we have also merit the fact that we deserve the funds that are necessary to provide for that affordable housing. So I'll just answer your comments.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, that's another question.
First of all, is there a sinking fund that's associated with the bonds themselves? Secondly, if there is a sinking fund, then how does it operate? Over how many years is the principal be paid back? And what are the terms of that?
So I don't know. And I'm gonna have you explain when you say sinking fund, what you're referring.
So it's like you're taking out a mortgage.
Right.
So when you're taking out a mortgage, you pay a little bit of interest and a little bit of principal at the same time. So after like 30 years or so, all of the mortgage is paid off. So now the state of California through ABAG is borrowing all this money. So what happens every year is a portion of that principal paid off every year? And if so, how is it paid back? Is it paid back in stages? Is it paid back in full at the end of 30 years?
So it's not a loan. So basically, it's a bond that will be, for each of us, we'll all be paying into through tax measures. So it's not a loan that we're taking out as a state. It's a ballot measure that we'll all have to be voting on in our counties and cities in November. And there will be a formula. I think right now they're looking at, is it 10 billion? There's an amount they're targeting, and it's not final. So I wanted to be clear, the executive board has not voted on this yet. There's a dollar amount they're looking at, and based on what.
Go ahead.
It's 20.
Yvonne, do you know? It's 20?
It's 20.
So they're looking at 20 billion, but we haven't approved it yet. And once that's approved, then they'll figure out how we go about raising those funds over the period of time. Is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? So a lot of the details are being worked out right now. And that's why I said the executive board hasn't voted on it yet. We vote on it, I think, in April. And that's when more of the details about what will be imposed on our residents, if we decide to go forward with it, what that would look like.
It's generally a loan. That's exactly what it is. So the question is it going to be paid back or not? Or at the end of the term, is it you magnify the amount and have a bigger bond at the end of all of this? So the concern.
Go ahead.
The concern is the borrowing. And I think I don't have an answer for that yet.
Can I just add another thing they're considering as part of the housing bond measure is to invest a portion of it. In New York, they're modeling after something New York did decades ago, where they took a portion of the housing bond they did and invested it so it could grow and so they could reinvest it in more housing. That's another component of this housing bond they're considering.
Not good. So hopefully, I didn't want to get into details.
I know, just like.
But especially since it's still in flux.
Right.
Go ahead, Yvonne, did you have any other comments, or Dan? Okay.
I don't. I don't.
So actually, I'm a bit confused. Is this the one for MTC?
Yes, so it's an MTC ABAG combined board bond. The MTC will administer it, but because it relates to housing, and that's what ABAG oversees. ABAG and MTC have joined a committee. I serve on the committee on behalf of the Cities Association, but it's MTC and ABAG together.
Yeah, this came before the VTA, because I serve on the VTA board, so this.
Question?
Majority approval?
Well, let's see what happens in November, but I think majority with all the different tax measures, but I think majority right now, simple majority, which will help us.
So just going back, we have not approved it.
Right.
So we haven't, the ABAG board.
Nothing is firm.
Nothing is firm. The details are still being worked out. I think the voting date is April. Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
She's exactly right.
Thank you. Any other questions related, let's say, not about the bill and things about
the details of the bond.
Okay. Thank you all. We'll open up public comments on the applicants? Anyone in the room wish to speak? No? Anyone remote? No hands raised? Thank you. I'll close public comment. Bring it back to this committee for advocacy. Go ahead.
I'd like to ask the advocate for Dan Furtado. He is currently on the city council. He served for 14 years, prior to being on it now. And he was on the executive board of ABAG, in 2005 to 2010 when he was on the previous council. Like he said, he was working on the Housing Trust Board and provided opportunities and funding for affordable housing. He's a strong advocate for regional collaboration, and he would like to focus on land use, energy, infrastructure, and advancing the California Finance Authority for ABAG. And I'll also just say that we were the first city in Santa Clara County as Campbell to approve our housing element. Dan was part of that. And we are very proud to be the first ones to build a VTA affordable housing at our light rail station. It was announced last Friday. I'm pretty excited, and Dan has been an active part, and I'm an advocate for Dan.
Thank you. Any other advocacy? I'll do some quick advocacy. So for me, we have, three great options here. I think definitely all of them have a lot of history. And for me, it's a lot of representation, understanding the issues. I've been working with NISA for many years now. And I do think that there is some value and continuity. I think, so for me, NISA and Yvonne have been representing this committee or this organization for some time now. And so to me, that has a little more value, especially as we're trying to decide certain issues. And to me, that it's always that balance, which makes it difficult. That being said, whoever, and we'll go through the voting in just a moment, whoever isn't chosen of the two seats that we have available, there is the alternate position that's also there. That's also critical, and we only have one current applicant to that. So we'll be talking, whoever isn't appointed, whoever that might be, hopefully they will also put their name in as far as alternate is concerned. So as far as voting this time, since we have three applicants and two positions, we will go do a similar sort of thing that we did previously. This time, of course, you'll be giving two names. So, oh, absolutely, go right ahead.
Yeah, I also advocate for Lisa and for Yvonne. I think over the years that I've known them, the last 5 years, they've worked very hard on whichever board that they've served. This position is really a tough position for them to be on the board, but it seems like all the bad things are happening there. They are coming from ABAG and from ACG, but hopefully with their both of them work with everybody else, so they can make good contacts and are able to move things forward based on the relationship they have. So I would be urging it and getting the two of them.
Thank you. Any other advocacy? Okay, go right ahead.
I'll be brief. Ditto what Councilmember Elahi said and what Mayor Klein said. And I have worked personally on numerous committees with both. I worked personally with both Nisa and Yvonne on different organizations. And I support the continuity as you pointed out. That's important. It impacts every single city. We are unique. Each city with the challenges we face in the area of housing. We may not get the answers for each city that we need to maintain them. And I'm going to count on whoever of the three. They're all fabulous candidates to really put the regional hat on to help as much as they possibly can. The solution. San Jose, Saratoga, but each other totally different approach. So what I'm looking for is somebody who will help us and be the voice for each city.
Thank you. Anyone else? Go right ahead. Yeah.
He's good as well. I've worked with her for at least 3 years now. I respect her significantly for her knowledge, for her hard work, her dedication. I think that she would be just a wonderful representative. She has the qualities that we really need for this particular job.
Thank you. No other comments? So please, as we're going through roll call, give the two of three last names, Flygore, Furtado, or Martinez-Beltran. And City County Clerk.
Why don't we do tallies?
This will be a little bit harder to tally, sorry.
Okay, Campbell.
Igor,
Flygore.
Lisa, and Dan.
Flygore, you can do first.
Igor and Furtado.
Apologies for the slowness here. Cupertino?
Flygore and Martinez-Beltran.
Thank you. Gilroy?
Flygore and Furtado.
Los Altos?
Flagger and Martinez-Beltran.
Los Altos Hills?
Flagler and Furtado.
Los Gatos?
Flygore and Martinez-Beltran.
Milpitas?
Flagler and, Furtado.
Monte Sereno?
Flagler and Martinez.
Morgan Hill?
Lisa and Yvonne.
Flygore and
Flagor and Martinez-Beltran.
Trying to keep me on my toes.
Yeah.
Mountain View?
Flagler and Martinez-Beltran.
And Palo Alto?
Flagler and Furtado.
And San Jose?
Flagger and Martinez-Beltran.
Santa Clara?
Flygore and Furtado.
Saratoga?
Flygore and Martinez-Beltran.
And Sunnyvale?
Flygore and Martinez-Beltran.
Martinez-Beltran. Thank you.
Sorry about the talk. We can take a moment if you need to.
I believe Flagor has 11.
15, sorry, that's my handwriting.
15. Unanimous for Flygor, Martinez-Beltran with 9, Furtado with 6.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, congratulations. Okay, one last thing to do.
Thank you.
We have just about the right amount of time to do it. The second thing is, for alternate, for those 2 alternate positions for ABAG. We have 1 letter of interest from Emily Ann Ramos. Hi, Emily. Are there any nominations from the floor?
So are we looking at the first alternate now?
We're taking both alternates at the same time.
I nominate Dan, Furtado.
Dan, are you willing to take that nomination? Thank you. Very good. Then we're good. Any other nominations for these 2 positions? Okay, anyone in the public wishing to nominate? No?
No.
Okay,
Just make sure there's 1 nomination for Furtado, no nomination for the second position.
so, and the second one is,
Second.
Apologies, Emily Ann Rose.
so we have 2 applicants and 2. Exactly, perfect. Emily, you'll have 2 minutes to speak whenever you're ready to unmute, and we can go to Dan first if you want, although Dan already spoke, but. You need a few minutes? Dan, do you want to speak? Good. Okay, no, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, I could.
Yes, you're good.
All right. Thank you so much. I was doing my phone and so Councilmember Martinez Beltran was offered me her laptop. Thank you so much for the opportunity to go for the ABAG alternate seat. I lived in the Bay Area my entire life. We're just gonna mute. A sec. Okay, I lived in the Bay Area my entire life. I love the Bay Area because it was open and available for people like my parents who immigrated here from the Philippines, and that also led to it being a diverse area and the love of innovation that our area particularly has. In my day job, I actually work on housing issues, primarily on anti-displacement across the entire county. And that has led me to also follow what's going on with ABAG and MTC, and particularly the housing bond, which fun fact is that the housing bond isn't just a production bill. It's supposed to be following all three P's frameworks, production, preservation, and protections. They're still trying to figure out how they can use some of that bond money toward protections, but also one of the biggest exciting things that we're all looking at is how it can be used for preservation, as such as extending out deed restrictions and acquiring housing to keep things that are naturally affordable permanently affordable. So I'm excited to work with everyone. I really love the opportunity to take on the housing crisis through like regional collaboration while still respecting our unique communities. I'm the newest member of our council here in Mountain View. And I have learned a great deal from my colleagues. I have learned a great deal meeting many of you when we have gone to regional events. And I may have appeared in some councils where you are all at, supporting housing and fighting for those to not get displaced from our communities. So I hope I can get your vote on this. And I think I'm at time, right? At 1 minute.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Emily or Dan? Okay, I will open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to comment on the public? Anyone remote? Close the public hearing. Is there a motion? Or is there any final comment or advocacy? I don't think you need it. Is there a motion for Dan Morgan Hill? Or both, Dan and Emily?
Oh, is it two positions?
Yeah.
Two.
Well, that's easy. Yeah, for both.
Morgan Hill?
I'd like to second at the same time.
Sure.
I'd like to advocate for
Thank you.
Emily Ramos. I've been working with her on housing issues for almost 10 years now. And she is just one of those people who learns the material just down to the detail, but doesn't lose sight of the concepts that are behind it. And she also is very, very generous with her time in explaining to those of us who haven't gone into the same detail what she's learned. I really appreciated that. So I just would strongly support Emily. She will do a great job.
Thank you. Any final advocacy? Seeing none, can we conduct a roll call vote?
Campbell,
Yes.
Cupertino,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Los Altos,
Yes.
Los Altos Hills,
Yes.
Los Gatos,
Yes.
Milpitas,
Yes.
Monte Sereno,
Yes.
Morgan Hill,
Yes.
Mountain View,
Yes.
Palo Alto,
Yes.
San Jose,
Yes.
Santa Clara,
Yes.
Saratoga,
Yes.
Sunnyvale.
Yes.
Thank you. That passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for being succinct. Thank you to all the applicants. We will adjourn the meeting at 6:00.